of healing
It's
set.
42, Don. It's 42.
All right. So, the question that I have for you gentlemen tonight is, what is your character's most profound fear? What does it look like?
Ugh. Oh,
I think I got one, and it's just going from the history that we've established thus far with my character.
Mm-hmm.
And that would, I mean, the giant tree creature that he faced, and just the interaction that he had with the child that he was protecting, and the fear that he would fail in providing that support, that needed support to help, to aid.
Okay.
He has suddenly found this ability to provide that in his most desperate moment, and to lose that again when somebody was desperately, helplessly depending on him would become his greatest fear, I believe.
All right.
I think uselessness, like useless death, or useless like waste.
I get that. To have accomplished nothing.
Yeah, just pointlessness, right? Like pointless death or pointless destruction.
Okay.
I think Rhaegar's biggest fear would probably be um, the breaking of his oaths and falling from grace, being a paladin, um, like, and losing his what makes him a paladin, basically his god,
Hmm.
all of it. So basically failing in his mission, I guess I would say.
Okay.
I would have to say Mace's biggest fear is losing another teammate the way he lost Johan.
That makes sense. Especially since I think Mace felt guilty about that loss.
Yeah, he definitely had some pangs of guilt, but the promise that he made to Johan, he kept his word, but it didn't keep him from feeling guilty.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, who would like to give us a recap of our previous session?
We all died.
I
On
crawled
the
into a chicken
contrary, good sir, they all died except one.
I showed up and we won.
It was all Rhaegar. So,
Excuse me.
That's what I remember.
yeah.
There is one survivor.
There is
but I
one
don't-
survivor. We do not speak his language, but the statue of Strahd did fall, and we recovered one of the magical stones that we assume helps the grapes to grow. So, um, there was, and Cyclo's character got struck by lightning. She got lit up like a Christmas tree, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow managed to survive. And we have a lot of victims around us. We have one that is collapsed, broken, and emotionally heavily distraught. slightly up the hill from us, and I believe we saw a looming tree in the distance.
That is correct.
Lightning is currently still flashing around us, and the storm is still there, although it doesn't seem quite as potent since the statue has fallen and the chanting has stopped.
Is that true? Did the lightning slow down from that? I mean, obviously we stopped the effigy thingy, but
The lightning is still persistent.
Yes, I mean,
has
but
it slowed down at all?
Mm,
Yeah, I thought you said that it did seem to ease up a little bit.
we can say
Slightly.
that it's come down a little bit, but it's still like lightning is still striking.
yeah, still dangerous.
The failure to protect his comrades from survival.
All right, I guess now that the fighting is over, Mace is going to go back and forth between teammates and check on their well-being and how they're doing.
And Papa will raise his hand and be like, "I'm fine. I'm fine." He did have a barbarian up in his face, but he seems like he's doing fairly well. He will make his way over to this barbarian and kind of kneel by him and try to take his hand. And just, even though he can't speak his empathy, his language, he will try to use body language to convey empathy and sorrow.
You can go ahead and roll a charisma.
Okay.
The bruised and bleeding man pulls away from you and just stares past you at the wreckage that was the statue.
And Pablo will just kind of shift his posture.
Limada! Limada!
He'll sit beside him, side by side, and look at the wreckage and just try to understand.
Oh my.
Shaitan! Kanda! Kilasuna! And he gets up and starts to hobble away.
Papa will just look back at Mace and what should we do?
Ja, Rabi Strahd! Ein Tant! Ja, Rabi Strahd! Ein Tant! And he just keeps hobbling until he starts running and running. Do you do anything?
He's too far away to really do anything, and Pavel doesn't have it in him to harm anyone who's running and not fighting him in self-defense.
You see him climb up onto the stones, heedless of the lightning, or perhaps hoping that something might happen. But he grabs hold of the body, scorched and burned from a fireball. Takes it over his shoulder and starts to run for the woods.
What body did he grab?
One of the women.
Ah. I would say I think that must have been his companion, maybe his mate. I don't think he's a danger to us. I think he's just devastated that he's lost his companion.
As he gets to the edge of the wood, he turns back and yells back at you. Saturaid! Sayuktalukum! Jajian min altaya! Safyokib! Pitakak! And he runs into the woods.
Pavel will rake his hand roughly across his cheek, though whether it's wiping away rain or something else, he wouldn't be able to tell. Are you saying something, Don? If you are, then you're muted.
No, I wasn't. I'm sorry. I had a phone call. So. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Mace is going to actually convey to the rest of his group that he doesn't feel comfortable staying here any longer. The guy took off, and he heard him running, heard him yelling, and just in case he has friends, we should probably leave this place.
Do we think the statue is sufficiently destroyed?
Rhaegar still has the gem in his hand, right? Or did he give it to...
I think you still have it in hand. I think we kind of stopped there.
Yeah, that's where we stopped, right?
All right.
This is where Mace would look at Oresis and say, "Fireball."
Where?
Hey, he's here. There he is.
Where?
I didn't know you jumped in.
Yeah.
Hi, Bubba.
Give me a nature or arcana check if you want to get an idea of what has occurred to this statue is sufficient for its destruction.
That was me, right?
If you're asked the question, then yeah. Is there a reason you have advantage?
No, I did just take 6. I didn't.
Okay.
That's been from previous.
I mean, pretty intuitively, I think you get the feeling that once the heart of the statue was removed, you saw the whole thing crumble. There definitely doesn't seem to be any animation to it anymore. The green energy that was suffusing it is now held in the palm of Rhaegar's hand. There's still wood and vines in a fairly large pile that perhaps could be repurposed, but there does not seem to be any animation to anything.
I'd tell the group, I'd be like, this place seems cursed. The one that ran off may bring back friends. I think we've sufficiently destroyed whatever they were doing here. I agree with Mace. We need to get out of here.
Is anyone in need of any healing?
Pavel will shake his head, but he's going to look to the south.
Mace is going to look over Lokhtari, because I know he was in the middle of it, and see how he's doing.
A few bumps and bruises. That translate to like 8 points of damage.
Oh.
Not a whole lot.
So Mace basically walks up and you wave him away.
How is Mace looking?
Mace has taken some damage, but he's not worried about himself at this point. He's worried about his teammates first.
Well, Pavel is going to cast Cure Wounds, and he's going to empower that with Empowered Healing, and you'll get an additional 5 on top of that, so 11 hit points.
Thank you very much, Pavel. I feel much better now.
He'll nod, and he'll say, I do not think that we have finished with this heal. There is still that tree over there. It looks, and could I make the assumption that it looks similar to the type of dark creations that he has encountered in his past, Eric?
I would say, give me a perception check, because it's actually fairly far away from you.
So,
Okay.
can I have someone help me? I know, it's kind of weird.
Is there anyone else who would have been looking at that tree?
I think we all probably would have been.
Yeah, because he directed their attention to it.
Okay.
The one that looks like Strahd. Yeah.
I'm still kind of worried about this stone that's in my hand.
Pavel,
Just saying, guys.
you would not recognize the faraway tree as anything that you've encountered before.
Okay.
Can I look over the stone and maybe do a check on it to see if it is? You know, I don't have detect evil or anything like that, so
The stone seems very valuable, or at least very important, and we're staying in the area that we took it. We
The
beat the
stones, we came here to find the stone.
correct, but
It was
the
stolen.
one that got away could bring back friends. I think we should inspect the stone somewhere else. Not
Do
sure
we
why.
think
I don't think that we
It's
should
the
leave
stone.
this hill until we see everything here. The
But do we
guardians
think
are gone.
it's the stone that we were sent here to find? That's what we think that this stone is. Or do we think that this is something else?
There's only one way to find out, and that is to go south and examine everything before more defenders come.
I agree. I think we should get out of here.
I'm okay with that.
And Pavel will start heading south. These are the people that drove out his friends, that nearly killed a babe in his arms. He has an agenda to wipe these people out.
Really? Okay.
So, I mean, at least to make sure that they're not going to be coming back. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. Those sound like two different things, but okay.
You know, it's a little bit strong, but, you know, to make sure that his defense of his friends is not in vain. They've already come this far. To only come halfway, even though they've been bruised and bloodied,
Sure.
seems like foolishness.
Then you should have let Mace bash that dude's head in while he was kneeling down on the ground.
Right?
All right. So you all watch this fairly, how shall I put this? Thin. To some of you, he appears a boy, though he is in fact a teenager. Begin to walk past the black stone circle and head south.
Mace is going to be on his heel because he thinks that he has to protect him.
This is a big map. Jesus, I forgot about how big this map is.
Yeah.
I can't even, like, I zoom out, I can't even really see my character.
Yeah. Are you all following?
Yeah. Best I can.
Mace is, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. As you clear the stones, you can see in the distance a massive tree, though you cannot yet see its base. And as you approach and get closer, it takes you, let's say, a good 10 minutes of walking down the path before you really start to get an appreciation for its size. And where are you guys? There you are.
Spear was pretty hurt, so I guess she's staying behind. But I'm getting the staff from her before we go. Is that okay?
I do not know if she would give it up. She's, at least in the last session, she
Kinda bound
seemed
to it.
quite persistent in holding on to it.
Okay.
So we'll say that she follows, because she's not gonna let you guys go on your own, and she does want to protect Pavel. But I don't think she would just give it away.
Especially to Pablo.
So this is the image. Can you guys all see this? This picture?
Yes.
Okay. This is the image
And
you
I'm
see
not-
before you. There is still lightning crashing around you. And you see this twisted, large tree that seems to just radiate age. The bark looks old and worn and black.
I'm gonna ask it because Ophira's not here. Are there any ravens on this tree?
No.
Okay. Bad tree.
A bunch of people standing around it. Is that what we see too?
We'll say that is actually you standing around it.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I'll do a nature check on it.
Sure.
Oh, I'd like to do a perception check to see if there are any enemies in the immediate area.
Sure.
Really bad at nature. Yeah, to hell with it. We're gonna do it anyway. Maybe
Would anyone
figure something
just
Oh my god. Okay.
Does he know it's a tree?
Mace.
Oh, that's a big tree.
You are not one for knowing a pine from a deciduous, from a coniferous, from a bush. It's a tree. It's a scary looking tree. That's all you got.
It's
All
not
right.
a rock. It's not a rock, Mace. It's not a rock.
it
Rhaegar,
could be.
you currently do not see any other entities in
Okay.
the area.
I'm still not letting down my guard. This looks ominous to me.
The tree is of black bark. As you see it, it has no leaves. And I will say that there's also, like, you see the bark, you see the wood, but there's no moss on it. There's no other life on this tree. Though you do not get the impression that it is dead. What are you looking at, Pavel?
Looking at that, I don't know, it looks like a body. It's kind of in the middle.
Here?
Yeah.
There is a body there. A skeleton. Male or female, you cannot tell. It has dirted, ratted clothes and a axe behind it. Looks kind of similar to perhaps the barbarians who you had fought before. Now, are any of you guys actually approaching this tree? Like, how close are you getting to it?
I'm not sure. I don't think I know where I'm at.
I'm
could just
twirling
tell me.
around a little ball of flame in my hand.
I'm poking Mace with a stick.
I'm gonna stay with Ophira.
I mean, from the previous map, I'd probably be on the out because it looked like it was a tree inside of like a circle of something, right? Like it looked like low-lying brush and then a big
Yeah.
tree in the middle.
Yeah.
I would probably be on the edge of that. I mean, I'd be inside the circle, but I wouldn't be like hugging the tree or nothing.
Okay.
Does it look like the growth stops, like in a circle around this tree, and everything's dead around the tree?
Yes. And as I'm thinking about it, Pavel, I mean, you had a pretty good perception check, so... And Nick, I don't know if you're actually doing something. Like, I just see you kind of getting Aberration 3 components, but, like, nothing's actually
Sorry.
coming up.
I'm updating my sheet and
Okay.
I keep clicking the wrong spot. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I just want to make sure you weren't trying to communicate something. Pavel, so you see this skeleton here, and you kind of keep, like, a good distance, but you're kind of, like, walking along the edge. And inside one of the boles of the tree, that almost seems to kind of like, it's almost like a hole that goes into the trunk a little bit. Mm-hmm. You see skulls. Dozens of skulls.
So at that point, Pavel's eyes will get large. And he's going to say, "I'm sorry if this brings us trouble, but this tree must go." And he's going to cast Create Bonfire just under the roots of the tree, if he can, if he's that close.
As he does that, I'm gonna step out of the circle.
Okay.
The axe, is it actually stuck into the tree, like in the picture?
It's kind of wedged in the bark. It hasn't actually... It's hard to tell if it's pierced the wood or if it's just sitting in the wood. You'd have to get closer to see.
It's more than DC 11. It's DC 16.
Okay.
So.
You set your bonfire, and it does burn, but it doesn't seem to do much. But perhaps if you kept it there for a while, you might get something.
And he'll get frustrated, and he'll see the axe, and he'll see the person that's, kind of down at its edge, and he'll walk towards the axe.
Okay.
He's maintaining concentration on the spell.
Okay.
Mace is sticking very close to Pavel with his
Okay.
mace drawn, just for protection. Excuse me.
What do you do when you reach the axe?
He's gonna grab the axe. He's gonna try to with his -1 strength.
Sure. I mean, it's an axe. You can pick it up.
So he takes that out of the tree, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So 13.
Okay. Are you attacking the tree with it?
He's gonna start hacking at it
Okay.
while the fire's burning.
as you hit and hit, the metal of the blade seems to just hit and bounce right off. And it doesn't actually seem to even dent or scrape the bark at all.
It's too weak. Is there any way that he can see deeper into that niche that's down there?
You start to hear a moan come from both within and without around you.
I think you guys need to get out of that circle.
Who's making that noise?
It's the tree. And he can't seem to really do much damage with the axe, so is there anybody in our party that looks like they're sufficiently strong to do something with it?
What is this tree, Pavel? Why are you trying to cut it down? I can see that it's...
At this point, it's going to be kind of instinctual, and he's gonna, I guess, kind of hold on to Mace, and he's going to be like, help me feel what this is. Because he's just got an instinct that this thing is evil. And so if Mace decides to help me, then that'll be a 26 insight to try and figure out the nature of this thing.
And that depends on Mace.
Yeah, I would give him help on that, and also Mace is gonna kind of close his eyes and concentrate. And he's not the smartest person in the world, but this tree is making flippin' noises. So he's just gonna ask it. What are you other than a tree?
I mean, I wish I could give you something with a 26, because a 26 is really nice, but it's a tree. You're not
foreboding feeling.
I mean, I think you don't need to do a roll to get a foreboding feeling. You have a foreboding feeling. Pavel is scared of this tree. He's just having a hard time figuring out why. But
yeah, but I mean, with the skulls underneath it, and you know, the black bark, and just trying to get some sort of semblance as to its nature, as to what might have created it.
There's nothing
sort of
in your background that would give you any insight to answer those questions. It is what I'm basically trying to say. Like, I get what you're trying to do. You want to get a feeling for what is this thing, where did it come from?
Right.
But there's nothing that you have that gives you that answer right now.
Okay.
What I can tell you is...
What about that? That's... Oh.
I mean, that would just increase your insight. But again, you're asking to insight a tree.
Okay, I need something like legend lore then. Okay.
That might be better. What I can tell you is like what you see. So you're looking at this tree. The sound does seem to be coming from it. Okay. With that kind of insight, it does seem like you are causing it pain. With that insight, you get a better sense of your own trepidation, of your own fear, that this thing seems to repulse you. There's something about it that you don't like, but you're not able to figure out necessarily what, except for the observations that you have. There are skulls that seem to be buried within it. It is devoid of life, but is yet still alive. It makes sounds when you hurt it, but beyond that, you're not going to be able to insight more out of the tree.
Okay, so Mace, against better judgment, nobody has touched this tree, correct?
The only interaction has been Pavel's axe, as far as I know.
Yes. So I'm going to take off a glove and put my hand on the tree and just try to get a feeling for what this thing is. Maybe it's making noises. Maybe it can communicate. Maybe he'll get a feeling. So I actually do touch the tree. Does anything happen?
I will give you one more ability check, and we'll make it a nature.
Oh boy.
And
Okay,
you're doing this on your own, because you guys have done a
Yeah.
lot of checks on this, so this is going to be
Yeah.
your last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo!
Okay.
Get that.
Putting your hand on the tree, you get a sense of profound age. The bark is incredibly thick and is disproportionate to the wood on the inside of the tree, from what you can tell. You look at the roots and they seem to go very deep into the earth. And while you do see damage occurring by the bonfire, you get the impression that it would take quite a bit more than that bonfire to truly kill this tree. It is not natural, as you can tell.
Do I get a sense of evil from this thing?
The staff that Ophira is having, can Pavel motion to her and say, Ophira, the staff, is it like this tree?
What about it?
Just is the staff look similar to this tree? It has a very distinctive flat bark to it.
Connected in some way.
I mean, I don't think you need to ask me, but I'll check. I mean, if
Okay.
it looks similar, you can just look at it.
Yes, the wood is of apparent similar type. Does the tree seem evil? You would probably think so. I mean, it's got skulls at its base. It doesn't have any leaves on it. I mean, it hasn't done anything to you.
Right. That's my whole feeling on it. I mean, it's a tree. It has been here probably older than any other living creature in this land, but that doesn't necessarily make it an evil thing.
Do you guys, he'll look to Rhaegar or to Mace, and he'll say, perhaps I was wrong, but I have this idea that there's just something strange about this tree. Everything that we have fought recently is being twisted. Nature. That staff seems to be made from the same as this tree, and we were told by the wizard that it can make those evil shrubs. Is
So
it
you're
not
thinking
fitting?
that this staff is made from, and that in fact this tree is what's creating.
Whatever spell that you
What?
use to identify the staff Could you do the same with the tree?
Theresis.
Nick, you're muted.
Absolutely, I could, but I have to touch it.
Mace has touched it. I have
I'm
touched
sure
it several times
one-
with this axe.
Well, okay, then I go up, I put a hand on the tree, and I ritual cast Hydrogen.
Okay.
I will go with him just in case.
As you go and lay your hand on the tree, and Mace kind of moves out of the way to let you pass, Mace, you look down at your own hand, which is covered in blood suddenly. And you see where your hand was, blood seep into the tree. Oresis. This is a... Now, hold on, let me check this here. Okay. Yeah, I think this would be okay. Object. Sure. This is a Gulthias tree. You put your hands on it and you immediately recognize that this tree is over 1,000 years old. It is profoundly a part of this land. The magic that suffuses it is necromantic. And it is a source of blights. And you recognize that were it to be destroyed, there would not be any more blights to be created.
Interesting. So I turn to the group knowing this and I say, we destroy this tree and burn it to the ground. Every blight will also be destroyed.
Well, no, just to clarify, no more blights would be created. It would not destroy all blights. Just to clarify.
To clarify,
That's a good start.
no more blights will be created. And we can destroy them ourselves.
It seemed pretty immune to anything that I could do with it from the outside.
I will go about...
But there were... You mentioned that there was kind of a nook in the tree?
Well, okay, it's a huge tree, right? But there is like a hollow where you've seen dozens of skulls that were laid down and placed in a very organized fashion. If you've ever seen photos of the necropolis under Paris, it's kind of like that. Almost as if they were placed there in a kind of a reverence.
And it was filling a hollow in the tree. And it seems immune to damage from the outside, so Pavel's going to start pulling at these skulls and just raking at them and getting them out of the way. And seeing if there's any way to get to a weak point, perhaps, of the tree.
Mace is... Pavel, stand back. I'm going to try something.
He'll stand back.
And I am going to cast Word of Radiance into the hole.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
I just want to see if radiant damage does anything more to it. It's just a test spell.
Your burning light does seem to sear the bark and wood. Not much, because you only do 3 radiant damage.
And everybody pretty much hears that, right?
Yes.
I think that if we are to destroy this tree, it must be with radiant damage. Holy fire.
Holy fire, and maybe from underneath as well, not from the outside.
Fire won't work.
Fire is working. Like, the bonfire you have does seem to be burning the wood just very slowly. It's a big tree, guys. If you hold a match to a log, you're not going to light the log on fire.
Right.
Yeah, so Pavel keeps digging at these skulls, trying to make a thing to where he can get to like the heart of the core of the tree, whatever, to do more concentrated damage since it's so big.
Okay.
Is anybody helping him? He's pretty tiny.
Oh yeah, Mace will definitely be helping him since he saw that and what that little cantrip did.
So you guys are putting your hands on the skulls and just removing them from their placements.
Yeah, trying
Yes.
to get in that hollow.
All right.
So he's been doing something that he don't do too often, and that's thinking. So he's been thinking a little bit, and he rolled an intelligence check, and he got a 15.
Okay.
So he's thinking, and his good buddy Aresis said that it was necromancy magic
Yes.
based. He's not a priest, but in his mind, the opposite of necromancy would be radiant damage or healing magic. So he's thinking that maybe if we try and heal the tree, that will do damage to it. Now, he, like I said, not a very smart man. So he doesn't have any healing spells. So he's gonna walk up to Mace, and he's gonna tap him on the shoulder, and he's gonna say, and he's going to relay what he's been thinking about to his compatriot, and see what Mace thinks about that.
Opposite of necromantic is healing. Death magic, healing magic. I could definitely try.
If that fails, then we'll just beat the heck out of it with radiant magic.
And
But-
meanwhile, Pavel's going to toss Rhaegar the axe.
Yeah, Rhaegar catches it out of the air. Does
And
anything happen? Is it
I will.
axe?
Let's see. Got.
If you don't have a heal spell, then perhaps you can use the axe.
He does.
He
With
starts whacking
smite.
on the tree
With smite.
with smite. Oh,
All right. Go ahead.
Is it a great axe or just a regular axe?
I will tell you. It's just a normal axe.
Okay. I'm just gonna use my longsword swing then. All right.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. And are you casting smite as well?
I am.
Okay. So, Rhaegar, as you take your the axe and you bring your brawn and strength down, you invoke your divine faith and crack into the tree. The axe itself does not penetrate the bark, but the smite seems to break open the wood. Oresis firing firebolts at all different parts of the tree, breaking and breaking. Mace and Pavel just throwing skulls out. The skulls seem to just keep going deeper and deeper. And
Can we try and
slowly,
speed up the process with mold earth at all? Is that even possible?
I mean, you try to like excavate earth around it, but the roots block the movement of the earth. Like they're huge
Really
roots,
thick.
like bigger than you are tall.
Right.
And slowly, after a minute, 5 minutes pass, more cries and wails come from the tree. A physical agony seems to resonate from it. And you cast more fire. Each blow of an axe seems to do nothing at all. But as you spend 10, 15... How long are you guys doing this for? I should ask.
I'm
Well,
trying to figure out the core deep down in there. What's underneath? Where are all these skulls? What are they doing down there? It's driving Pavel mad.
They seem to keep going. Like you get the impression that there's almost hundreds of skulls.
Yeah, he's like
As if
crying
there'd
at this
been...
point.
As if over the course of 1,000 years, people were putting skulls into this tree.
Yeah, he's just imagining all the grief and torment that is going into this, and it's racking him across his soul. He is just, tears are streaming down his face, and he's pulling these skulls out, almost in a
You pull the
blind
skulls, and
madness.
even as you're pulling them, more skulls seem to almost fall on top of you. Where you pull one out, 5 more seem to just kind of take its place, and you realize that there's so many of all... Like, they're all humanoid, but there's so many of them, it would take you days,
Yeah.
weeks.
Mace had actually touched it and cast a healing spell on it. to
Oh,
see
yes,
what
you
it-
did. You actually see the bark heal
Oh.
when you heal it.
Well, it was worth a try.
Hey, that's all right. And they're still throwing firebolts on it.
Until
and I've
one of
maintained
you...
concentration on fire or bonfire the whole time, so
Yeah.
every 6 seconds it's 11 damage, so it's not much.
Yeah, so are you guys just spending as much time as you can doing this?
Yeah.
I'd say that's a good idea to do that.
An hour passes. A second hour passes. It's taking you a long time to break through. Even a recess with your firebolts. You realize that some of your firebolts seem to just splash against this tree and do practically nothing at all. Some seem to burrow in and burn it, but it's a powerful tree. But by the second hour, and with the bonfire constantly burning, you see branches start to crumble. The white of burning ash seems to crack and bristle along the edges of the tree. Moans. Seems to almost cascade across the land. Luktari, roll a perception check for me.
That's right, Loktari has special abilities if he touches things.
But as I understand it, he has not.
Ah, true.
Or he has not
Well,
touched.
I was pulling skulls out. I mean, I probably would
Oh.
have touched it on accident, but I typed that earlier. I said I was.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I basically said I'm gonna help pull skulls since I think punching the tree wouldn't really do anything.
You did say that. I see that there now. Luktari. So 2 things. One, you hear almost echoes of the cries of the tree coming from around. It's hard to pinpoint them. Secondly, with each skull that you touch, you catch a very brief glimpse of people laying the skull down. Very carefully, very gently. Every skull you touch, like you catch this glimpse of like 2, 3, maybe 4 dozen people putting a skull down inside this tree, and it just seems to be going. You catch glimpses of some faces, some with sadness, some with tears, and it just goes every time you touch. It's the same thing over and over. Someone puts a skull down, and they seem to put it very carefully, and then they step away. And the echoes of the moans seem to become louder, and they seem to start to come closer from the forests around you.
I would tell the group, I'd be like, I do not know if this is a cursed site. It seems almost like a ritualistic burial site. The skulls were placed here, I think, by loved ones.
Like the barbarian from before. The poor
Possibly. I saw visions. The people that placed the skulls here did not seem it was done in an evil fashion. It seemed almost mournful. I think we're destroying something that is not evil.
Much as we destroyed the statue that they were trying to bring to life. Their religion is twisted.
Possibly. But dead loved ones, should we really desecrate their site?
As you ask that question, you see from the forest, charging at you, the barbarian from before. His axe raised, his eyes wild, screaming, "Cuff! Cuff! 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 Cuff!" And he just comes racing at you, completely heedless.
At me or the group?
At all of you. He's gonna go for the closest person, and we'll just roll a die, see who that is. And that will be, Loktar. No, Rhaegar. He's just gonna come rushing at you, seeing you with your axe hitting away at the tree. Will a 16 hit?
It will not.
He is just slamming his axe against you, crying and screaming in rage. It's different than from before. He is just attacking you and trying to break you away from the tree.
I'm going to, I'm surprised, but I am going to try and grapple him.
Okay.
Athletics. 21.
21.
Bring it, Berserk.
Give me one moment. That's what I was looking for. Alright, so that's a strength check.
Ooh, almost.
Okay, so you grab hold of him, and he is just wrenching against you and biting you and spitting in your face. He's going to try and break away from you.
Okay.
You see him just weakened from the earlier fight with all of you, the blood loss, but he is just again raging at you, screaming into your face. Cuff! Cuff!
Did you see that, Eric?
I do. Charisma saving throw. Let's see here.
$16 DC.
Okay, I need to read this whole thing. The spell settles on him, and for a moment you see him kind of like look over at you, but then he immediately sees the skulls being thrown away. He sees the fire around him, and he just goes straight back to wrenching and biting at Rhaegar.
I figured. It's worth a shot.
I'm going to.
He starts
try and.
smashing his head into your face.
Okay.
Does anyone have a way that we can communicate with this man?
He smashes and smashes, and you actually
out.
start seeing blood and bones start kind of showing up on his own face.
I would yell at the group, "Stop destroying the tree! That's what's making him enrage."
He smashes
We're
again
destroying
and again
his-
and again, just smashing his face against your armor since he can't seem to do anything else.
Alright, well, I'm gonna sweep his legs and put his face into the ground and make him stop. And completely immobilize him. So he can't do that anymore. To keep him from harming himself and from harming me.
Do a strength check with disadvantage.
Okay. Strength or athletics?
Athletics.
That's an 11.
You basically kind of like bear hugged him into the mud, and he's just again smashing everything until eventually his face cracks into a rock in the soil as he's trying to twist and hit you, and he just goes limp.
Great.
Blood
Is
and
he
bone.
dead?
Sorry, go ahead.
is he dead? Can I sense that he's
Do a medicine
that
check.
light? Alright. Yeah, I immediately try and sense for like a pulse and see if there's anything that I can do to.
You sense no pulse. You see brain matter.
That's not good.
Alright, well, then in that case, I'm going to start whispering his last rites then.
And Pavel's he's just gonna shake his head and he's gonna say, "These poor people, they've all been manipulated."
I want to try to put the bonfire out too, because I think killing the tree is not the right thing.
Okay.
If Loktar is trying to stop him, at this point, Pavel, he's young. He was shook by the skulls, but seeing that happen right in front of him, he's shook. He's a bit stunned. And his
Very
fervor
good.
has waned.
Do you still have the gem?
Rhaegar takes the gem out of his satchel and shows it to Mace.
I wonder what would happen. The gem helped make the soil around the vineyard good and healthy soil. I wonder what would happen if we put the gem near the tree.
Rhaegar's gonna look at Aresis and kind of questioningly ask,
Like what? Near the tree?
The gem that we pulled out of the giant quick man.
But the gem was seeming to provide life, and
If
well,
you
I
did
guess
the
I
healing,
reminded him.
if you
Yeah.
did the healing magic on it and it healed it, I don't know if it would be a good idea. Ophira, you have the staff. Do you need it anymore, or can we finally break it and be done with it?
Would breaking the staff kill the tree, do you think?
I do
I
not
hadn't
know,
even
but
thought.
the
I
staff
do
is
not.
evil, and we should be
I
done
do
with
not
it.
think we should destroy the tree.
I agree with Hobble that the staff is evil.
If the
Um,
staff is
uh,
evil, then the tree must be evil because the staff seems to be one with the tree.
is Encyclo there? Encyclo,
Yeah, I'm here.
is it okay to break the staff now, like you wished to do earlier?
I will full on just snap this fucker over my knee.
Okay.
It explodes.
You break it over your knee, and a piercing wail breaks out from the staff and seems to carry all around you, and it holds for what seems like 5, 10, 15 seconds, longer than it should. Ophira, you simultaneously suddenly feel your right arm become suddenly lighter. You didn't realize it amongst the fight, but it's almost as if there was something there that was weighing down your arm. But it's now gone.
That feels much better.
The tree remains unchanged. The staff that you held seems to be oozing a very dark red sap, spilling into the ground where it is broken.
Pavel's somewhat stunned at this, and he's looking at Ophira, seeing what she thinks.
Good riddance of that, at least.
I do not know if we can do anything else here.
Doubt that breaking the staff would have done anything to the tree, anyways. If this comes from that, then the only way you could harm the tree would be through the tree, not the staff that is now not part of it.
And I guess we've done some damage to the tree.
Oh
Just
yeah.
kinda wilt.
You guys have spent 2 hours attacking this tree, and like it is definitely seriously damaged. Like large chunks of its branches have been burned off. You see cracks forming in the main trunk. You spent a lot of time on this, and if you spent like another, you're pretty confident if you spent another hour on this, it would be razed to the ground.
Right.
I think we should finish what we started.
Also, what was the question for today?
The question for today was, let me see, how did I phrase it?
We're
What
just-
is your most profound fear, and what does it look like?
If Rhaegar seems to stand fast, he Pavel will look to his monk friend and he'll cast create bonfire on the tree.
I just shake my head.
The skulls blacken and crack. So are you all spending another hour there?
Mm,
Is anyone stopping Pavel?
And he's doing Sacred Flame on top of it.
Okay. So if no one's stopping him, I'm going to assume that this does happen. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Alright. You spend the next hour watching Pavel furiously and almost obsessively burn this tree down. It's odd to see such fervor and infatuation almost with destruction from such a young person. And for those of you who have experienced trauma and loss before, you see some small amount of similarities in how he looks at this tree with some of your darker moments in life. The
Exactly what I was going
idea
for.
the idea of what Lokhtari had said, that this could possibly be more of a reverence, kind of wheedles at the back of your mind, but you look at the bark and wood and you kind of just put it to the back of your mind. For it's unlikely that anything such as this could ever actually be loved or revered. Nothing you've seen ever looks like that before. Until eventually, even with the rain, the tree is burned to the ground. Its roots still quite deep into the ground, but the trunk and branches above are smoking fire. The skulls blackened and some cracked and in shards. What do you do now?
Pavel will look at around to the group since they all just kind of stood back and watched him do it. And he's breathing heavily, kind of on his knees, exhausted from this, almost aching from the amount of magic that he's used. And he's going to look at Lokhtari and he's going to say, "Touch it now, monk. Tell me what you feel."
No.
He says no.
I say no.
Also, I don't think Pavel knows what the monk can do.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. That would be my previous character that would know.
Correct.
And he's gonna stand up and he's gonna be like, "I'm sorry if I seemed crazy, but if you had seen what I had seen, a walking gigantic tree bent on nothing but death, trying to kill innocent children, you would fear anything like that from happening again. And this tree, I feel, is where it came from." And my duty is now complete. No longer will this haunt my friends or their baby ever again. And he's gonna spit on the ground and he's gonna walk off.
Just if nobody saw what I typed, just to make everybody know, Mace did help him with Word of Radiance burning this tree down, because to him, necromancy means evil, because that's undead and all that other stuff. So he did help.
Okay, so Mace was also assisting in the last
Yes.
hour. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you
After a
guys
little
hit this?
while, Rhesus would also start to help because he sees the determination and just wants to move on.
Okay.
Did you guys hear any of what I said? No, probably not.
Not a word.
Okay, all right.
What did you say,
I
Rhaegar?
was just gonna say, like, when Pavel was done burning down the tree, I was just gonna go up to him and put my hand on his shoulder and just say, "It's done. You did what you had to do. Then the land is better for it."
Probably not, but he's still all the death and the fighting. He'd even say this: all the death, all the fighting. This is not what I believe.
Still, you had a duty, and you completed it, and I'm proud of you. But
He'll-
we still have a job to do. And he'll hold out the stone. We have to return this to its rightful owner. Oh,
Okay. I'm sorry, everyone, for dragging you along on this. I wish you had seen what I had seen. Then you would know. And he's just kind of hang his head, and he's going to walk back. Now we must find my friends, if they are still alive. But at least, if they are not, we have avenged them.
Right, well. Did we get the cart full of wine, by the way?
If my memory serves, you originally had a cart of wine, and you drove it during the night when you discovered that the Martikovs were missing. And then you all realized it was nighttime, and promptly scurried back to the winery. I don't think that you brought the cart with you to Yester Hill.
Okay, so we need to get this gem back to the winery, get the wine to Volaki.
the other city.
Bresk.
Kresk.
Sorry, Karess.
Kresk.
Kretz.
Get the wine to Kresk and hope that the Martikovs are there.
Alright,
Yep.
you guys all start heading back to the winery? Or do you want to do something else while you're here?
I really can't think of anything else. But it's a good thing you asked that question and what the greatest fear was, because that really played into how Pavel acted today.
I'm glad. Alright. You all turn down the road, the rain squelching the mud beneath your feet. Lightning still seems to be attracted to this area and still strikes the black formation around you. Not entirely clear why, but it still persists. As you take the long road back to the winery, evening sets in. Cold sleet pelts you on your back. And as you arrive back at the winery, it's familiar sights. You see a faint glow in one of the windows.
the black screen.
Oh, I'll fix that.
We're level 6 now, right?
I think so. Can you see now?
No. Since I kind of missed it, what did everyone else say for the question today? Ah, there we go.
I will tell you. So, from the top, Rhaegar said his greatest fear would be the breaking of his oaths and falling from grace. Lokhtari said if he were to have a useless death, to have accomplished nothing and to die pointlessly. Oresis would be the failure to protect his comrades from survival. Mace, if he were to lose another teammate, just like he had lost Johann. And for Pavel, his greatest fear, in memory of the giant tree creature that awakened his powers, was if he were to fail to help and aid those who depended on him for protection, particularly his friends and children who were near him.
Okay.
So as you approach the winery and it grows dark, you see a faint glowing light in one of the windows. The flickering of a candle.
Pavel's just he's gonna see that and he's gonna start running.
Stop. This could be a trap.
But why?
Let
It
me
could
check
be
it.
them.
Let me check it out first.
And Pavel's got this desperate look on his face.
Let him go, Pavel.
But he nods
Let her go.
and
Sorry.
and stands back.
So I'm gonna creep up to the window and try and see what's inside.
It's on the second floor. You would have to climb the edge of the wall to try and look through.
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. It's probably a dexterity. It's a very good stealth.
Flat dexterity or acrobatics?
Acrobatics is fine.
Okay. Jesus.
So you try to climb the wall, but with the rain and darkness, your fingers are numb and they're not actually able to grip into the rock. You make no sound, like you try and grab and you're still able to keep the stealth of your place, but you realize that you're not going to be able to climb the walls. It's just too cold.
I assist with him by picking him up.
No, you would have to stealth over here, and I don't think anyone else is gonna roll that good.
I'm kidding.
I'll just stand up and just motion for them to just come here. Just come on. Nothing's happened to me this far. It means that it's probably not worth worrying about.
Okay, so Pavel will slowly make his way over. He's too tired to stealth.
The rain soaks through the cloth, linen, and wool. Mace and Rhaegar, you both feel the chill of your armor seeping into your skin. You reach the door of the winery. And what do you do?
Knock. And Pavel will call out, I can't remember the names of them individually. There's Adrian, Davian.
You do have Adrian, yeah?
So Adrian would be there. He's the father.
No, that's Davian.
Okay, so but Adrian's my friend.
Your
Is that
friend
right?
is Claudio.
Claudio. So he'll call out, Claudio, Claudio, it's Pavel, and he'll knock on the door.
You hear footsteps, and the door swings open, and you see the face of Adrian. Good God. Get in, get in. And he waves all of you in.
Quickly go inside.
By the morning, Lord, where were you? We thought you all dead.
Pavel will motion to Rhaegar. The stone. Show him the stone.
Rhaegar will reach into his pouch and pull out the stone and present it.
You see Adrian's eyes go wide, and his hands are shaking as he kind of reaches over to take the stone. Do you let him take it?
Yes, I let him take it, and as he takes it, I say, the Morning Lord has blessed our path.
You see tears kind of form in his eyes, and he like brusquely wipes them away. Oh my God, everyone is still asleep, but how? Where did you get this?
It was on the hill. The one with all the lightning.
You went there?
And with all of their help, they're all very strong. We were able to take it away from a bunch of people. They seem to worship Strahd as a god. And some dark, twisted tree. We burned it to the ground. It will never come here again.
Adrian's face is almost like he seems partially disbelieving, partially relieved, partially confused. You see just a range of emotions cross his face. And he says, please, you must be, you're clearly soaked. Just here, come inside. We haven't been able to clean up yet, but there's at least some hay bales that you can use for some beds. We haven't seen any blights since. And you see him kind of trip on those words a little bit. We haven't seen any around here. Should be fine. We can talk in the morning, and this is good news. We needed some good news.
Pavel will give a very genuine smile to him and hug him, and he just almost seems like he's going to fall down. He got himself to this point, and this seems to be the moment that he was waiting for, to see that his friends were alive and okay, and his eyes are starting to roll back in his head, and he's barely keeping his feet.
Adrian will kind of hold you in the hug until sees you kind of falling over, and he'll just kind of like sweep your legs up from kind of underneath you a little bit, kind of holding you up, and he'll bring you over to like one of the hay bales and puts you down, puts a blanket on you. What are you inciting, Mace?
Adrian, just making sure it's on the up and up.
With that insight, you see grief and you see relief. You notice when he said the last time, and he kind of tripped on his words a little bit, that grief crossed his face. But he seems genuinely relieved with the presence of the gem and that all of you are there.
All right, then Mace is gonna relax a little bit because he was pretty much on edge walking in the door, and it just seemed too good to be true that his friend was there, so he's just relaxing a little now.
I think Ophira's gonna, yeah, pull out a stiletto. Ophira's gonna look at Adrian and be like, "How did you guys know to come back? If we couldn't find you to tell you."
This is our home. Where else are we going to go? It's been over a day and we hadn't seen anything of you. Then we were attacked and figured we would at least try and see what happened. So Rhaegar, you're gonna stand watch?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are the rest of you doing?
Pavel's probably unconscious by now.
That's fair to say.
Mace will pick a place near Pavel and try to rest himself. Pretty wore out from the day's activities.
Ophira's
just
gonna do
quiet.
the same, but after a few hours, when she's fully rested, she's gonna take over watch for Rhaegar.
Okay. Mace.
Yes.
You drift to sleep. And please come meet me in general.
Yo, meet me in general. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Give me a second. Just need to find the right music. There
Nope,
we
you're
go.
done. We're moving back.
Mace, you wake up in the middle of the forest, surrounded by mist, and at your feet you see Johann, blood dripping from his mouth, his face ashen and without life. You flash forward to Valaki. Homes burning, people screaming, and you see the man who claimed to be your brother, hung by a noose, people spitting on him, dead. You see the young girl that Johann had tried to protect, broken and twisted, her face a macabre look with long teeth and ashen skin. And you move through Vallaki almost without your own ability, and you find yourself in front of Fiona's home. The blood raining down, and you see yourself kneeling at the feet of Strahd. You see yourself again pray to him. You see yourself say the words he instructs you to say. It must have been hard for you. And you suddenly see Strahd look at you, saying those words, begging like a pup. Tell me, do you seek vengeance? Would you seek to punish me for your humiliation? What would you do for your vengeance? And he puts his boot on the heel of the neck of Mace, who is kneeling before him. Just a begging pup. And you transform into, or at least the shape of Mace transforms into the shape of a dog. A dog that you recognize as Lancelot. And you see Strahd's boots start to press down. Well, I asked you a question, cleric. And he looks at you as he says this. What would you do for your vengeance?
Well, demon, I have prayed over this, and I have found my faith again. No thanks to you. I hate to break this to you, but I do not feel vengeance. I will ask Lathander for guidance and strength to try and strike you down and remove your blight from this land. If it kills me, then so be it.
Well, it's a shame. Because I expect great things from you. And if you fail, then you're as useless to me as a pup. And his boot pushes down, and you hear a crack. And the dog's body is motionless.
I will not fall for your tricks again, demon.
There's a bog in an old, decrepit room. There's a woman who lives there who I'm quite fond of. She holds the sister of the gem that you now hold. And she also has some company these days. She tends to get lonely, but she has some old acquaintances of yours joining her. I think that you might have some unfinished business with them. Ghana spoke so highly of you I'm sure you'd want to meet her again. Do me a favor and take care of that, would you? See you soon.
Just
And
kind of speechless because he thought that Morgana or Morgantha, whichever it be, was in league with Strahd. So why does he want her destroyed? Okay.
we can go back.
Johan's dead, so
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not coming for us.
I've just been bopping to this music, so I put the bobcat.
Through the night, you all continue to sleep. Ophira, as you lay your head to rest, and you imagine the gem that was collected, and you kind of just think about its energies and its profound connection to life and energy, and you kind of wonder where it's from. Being back inside the walls of the winery, it's almost like something clicks in your head. Suddenly, things come into focus that you forgot before. You remember Pavel's hands casting magic over top you. And it's almost as if whatever was in your arm, whatever effect the staff had on you, blocked the full effect. And you remember. And you remember just as you fall asleep. And please join me in general.
Oh boy, this will be fun.
Now, where? There we go.
Round and round the spin wheel.
You find yourself again in a deep forest. Green energy fills the space, almost like the mist, but in waves, like Aurora Borealis. But inside the forest, these green waves of light. You've done well, little raven girl. The gem.
It's connected to you, isn't it?
It suffuses me. Would strengthen me. And you feel the deep breaths hitting the back of your neck. You feel his presence behind you. And you fly through the forest. Suddenly, at the speed of the wind, you're flying through. Your body isn't even there. You're finding yourself in a place. A shrine. Green vines, stone pavilion. Bring the gem here. Help me return to Barovia.
just out of character, there were like 3 of these gems, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. In character now. Okay. I will do it.
Be wary. Strahd. Left. Creatures. And you see these lumbering black shapes kind of cracking up from the forest edges and moving around. They will not let you easily. But return the gem, and I will come back to Barovia.
I will make sure that you do. Also, do I, on the map, have an understanding of where this shrine is?
Yes. I'll show it to you after.
Okay. You just, tell me visually where it is. I'm guessing it's in a corner somewhere.
Yeah, here, I'll pull up the map. Where's it? Player handouts. Oh, delete this. There we go. Player handouts, map of Barovia. Opens up. It is... there it is. You would find it. You see Lake Zarovich?
Yeah.
It is to the northwest of Lake Zarovich.
Alright, so kind of in that clump of trees just north of the tower.
North of the tower, west of the compass rose.
Right. Okay.
And you...
Pretty close to Kresk, all things considered.
I said northeast, didn't I?
You said west.
So sorry, northeast of Lake Zarovich.
Oh, okay.
My apologies.
Okay. Not close to Kresk.
No, sorry.
Anyways, yeah. Before we would go back, then I would probably want to, when I wake up, try and take the stone.
I understand. I'm not surprised by this. Okay. Your dream ends, and you return.
Right.
I'm just trying to think now. Do you want to try and take this gem during the night?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, since you were the next one who's going to take over from Rhaegar, we'll say that you wake up, and why don't you first whisper me a stealth check?
Right.
Okay. And we're going to see if this stealth check works or not. But if it does, I'm going to ask you to also whisper me, a, oh my goodness, a sleight of hand check.
Okay. So we're gonna return to the other voice chat then.
Yeah, but can you send me the sleight of
Yeah.
hand?
Right. I didn't know if you wanted me to do that now or after.
Now, please, yeah. Okay. And we will return.
Of corruption, and within a dark room full of still ghosts. Well, it's gotta be Valaki. Definitely. Because all is well was the thing there. And then find a house of corruption, and within a dark room full of still ghosts. Like, I don't remember us ever.
I think we got that one with the necromancer's son. You know,
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Eric is back.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Rhaegar, could you please give me a perception check
Yes, sir.
as your shift ends?
16.
Okay. As the night fades on, you hear Ophira waking up behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently getting ready for the switch of your shifts, though she's a little bit early.
Okay. If she's a little bit early, I'll sit with her for a while.
All right.
Until my shift is over, because I'm nothing if not Rhaegar. So.
I mean, you are indeed nothing if you are not Rhaegar.
Yeah.
All right.
He does his duty, is what I'm saying. The full duty, and nothing but the duty. So.
Wow.
That's a lot of duty.
It's a lot. That's a lot.
It is, but it's his.
Do you two talk about anything, or do you guys just kind of stare into the night?
He greets her as she comes out. He says, "Well, you're early."
I just remembered something.
He'll kind of just look at her and see if she's going to say anything else. And if she doesn't, he will just kind of continue to there. He's not one to pry.
Certainly not into a lady's affairs.
Certainly not.
All right. An hour passes and the end of your shift completes.
Okay, Rhaegar gets up and he bids Ophira good night, and he will walk in and find himself a nice place to bed down, remove his armor, and go to sleep.
Okay. Ophira stands alone, keeping an eye on watch. And Pavel, your dreams are very tumultuous. You feel senses of fracture. You find yourself walking towards the castle of Strahd. You're taller. Your hair long and black. Surrounded by your followers. People of strong faith. White yellow light almost comes off of you in a halo. You're here to defeat the vampire. Your faith is strong. The people who follow you, just as powerful. With your faith and their arms, you know that there's nothing else that can be done. You cannot let him continue what he has done to this land. As you walk up, all of you with your weapons, you with your faith. Wolves surround you, coming out. Zombies break up from the earth, and they start to fight and attack those around you. There's screams of anger, screams of pain. You hear people bleed. You cast spells to heal the wounded, and you're able to just barely hold the onslaught. You knew this fight would be difficult, but you were not going to let it go. And suddenly he's there. That face. Those eyes, red and piercing. And he just walks up to you, and you take your sword, and you strike at him, and it just hits him on the cheek and stays there. You close your eyes, and the light around you builds and grows, and you actually start to see his own skin burn. And you see his eyes wince, and he almost looks away, and then he glares back at you. A red light blooms from the top of the castle, and you see the wounds on his face mend and connect, and his skin once whole and porcelain again. So curious and feisty. Whatever did you get this power from? And he licks his lips as he looks at you. And he grabs you, and his fist is like iron. Suddenly there's more wolves, more zombies and skeletons, and you hear your friends and comrades crying out. The halo around you still maintains, but in spite of it, he seems to just bathe in the light. He takes a deep breath of your hair. You smell different than the others. And he takes another deep breath. I smell something different in you. You're suddenly aware of the book in your satchel. You thought to yourself, why did I bring it here? It shouldn't be here. No, it'll be gone. It'll be gone soon. And you see him look down at your satchel almost as if he knows. And he reaches and grabs for it. And you feel at your side suddenly this vibration as if the thing that gave you power meant to escape and yet could not. And with that, he just looks back at you. Oh well, thank you for the gift. And his hand squeezes and cracks, and it goes black. The rest of your night fill with just tension, ominous fears, and blinks of images that you don't quite yet have a sense for. And the rest of your night goes uneventfully. Ooh, not that one. Nope. Where are you? Yeah, we'll go with this. There we go. You all awaken in the morning. The early hours. Orphira remains at the door, staring out into the early morning light. Some of you perhaps a little more tired than others. And slightly less rested. It's still early, and it seems that you are the only ones who are awake right now.
Pavel's gonna get up and he's gonna start going about his daily chores that he had been doing for the past several months. Just cleaning, just rote, feeling comforted by the act of routine.
You start to sweep up the glass and broken wood from the attacks. Your own battle created quite a decent amount of damage as well through the home, but you know the paths. The stairs are still there. The familiar smells of vinegar and wine. It gives you some comfort and helps take your mind off anything that might wander. Luktari, you see Mace and Rhaegar standing in the morning light, doing their prayers. Ophira stands there in the doorway. Oresis going through his forms of meditation, practicing with his weapons.
We should make sure to get an early start today for Kresk.
If you're saying something, Phil, we can't. At least I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, your name's lighting up, but nothing's coming through. Might want to maybe disconnect and reconnect.
Always
Something.
works for me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. I actually kind of told him a little bit while you were pulling Ophira and whatchamacallit, but I would, when everybody's sitting around, everybody's just relaxing, I would tell them about the Leviathan thing. Like I said, the only person who hasn't heard about it is Ophira, so I guess I'll say it to Ophira. But so we haven't had a chance, but a few nights ago, because we've been basically fighting too much, a few nights ago I had a dream my deity had sent me, or at least I believe it was. But she showed me images of these leviathans. It seemed like they were consuming this land. I'm not sure what to make of that, but... And this obviously would be... I got this from, I think, Don or whatever, but I believe these leviathans are entities that are corrupting this land. And from what Pavel had said, is possibly that tree is maybe one of these leviathans. Has anybody else had any strange dreams?
Last night, I had a very strange dream. Strahd came to me, and he told me that there was an old woman that we already know, and she has the sister gem to the one that we found and rescued, and he wants me to kill her, which makes no sense to me, because I thought that they were in league together.
We need to be very careful if we see Strahd. I think he can change what we remember or don't.
The old woman was Morgantha, by the way. We have history with her, you know. Pavel, you probably don't know. And then he'll go into the story of what happened with the hags
Sure.
so that Pavel knows.
Pavel is half listening, but he's not all there at the moment. Almost kind of like he's an NPC right now, for lack of a better word. Um, just he seems highly distracted, and almost like his mind is in two pieces.
You notice it, Rhaegar.
Noticing that, I get up and I walk over. Pavel's doing chores.
He's cleaning up. He's basically got a broom and he's trying
He's
to clean up the winery of the wreckage that is around.
he's cleaned up the same spot about 5 times now.
Rhaegar's going to sit there and watch him for about 5 minutes, and obviously while he's doing this insight check. And after that, um, he's going to say, "What are you doing?"
Pavel will kind of jump at your voice and let's see, and he'll just barely keep a hold of his broom, and yes, I do not know what to do now. I have done everything that I could to help. I do not know if this is the last that I will see of you, if you will stay here or if you will move on.
Do you believe that you have accomplished everything that you set out to accomplish?
My parents, they sent me here to learn and perhaps use some of my knowledge in engineering to help create an aqueduct here to help protect the winery so that the wine will flow.
That is not what I asked you.
I killed the tree. I do not think that any more of those blights will be coming to bother us. Uh, I do not know if I should stay here and finish my apprenticeship or if I should go back home. But I thank you so much for your help. If I had gone alone, I would have died. And he's speaking almost like he's a stranger at this point. Like,
I'm noticing that. Um, Pavel, have we not traveled together? Have we not fled together? Have we not seen troubles together? Do you not consider yourself a part of our group?
I've known you for a few days. I have my friends here for months. We have also bled together.
Do you believe that
Go ahead.
you are? Sorry. do you believe that you are best served by staying here and continuing your apprenticeship, as you call it? Or do you
No,
believe that you can serve a greater good by coming and helping us?
he seems to think about it for a moment. When he thinks back to the dream that he had the previous evening, he still he doesn't know if it was, but it felt so real. And he
Grace
says,
will walk up to Pavel and he will place his hand on his shoulder and he will say, I think that our fates are intertwined, Pavel. I believe we are going to be traveling back to Kresk. You could at least join us on the travel to Kresk and see your parents, and then make a decision from there whether you would like to travel with us more. But I cannot help but think that our destinies are bound together. But the decision is ultimately yours.
it is not just my decision, it is also Master Moltekov's. I am his apprentice, I am bound to him.
Then we must speak to this master of yours, and he needs to understand what we have done to give him this winery back, and he can make a decision from there.
Pavel will nod, and he's going to say, well then, you talk to Master Moltekov. For now, I have a lot of work to do.
You suddenly hear banging from upstairs. You hear footsteps kind of running around a little bit, and as if there's furniture being moved and things being thrown. Where is it? Where is it? And Adrian comes running down the stairs like, do you have it? Did you take it back? Where is it? Where's the gem?
Pavel will drop his broom and it'll clatter to the ground.
You have it, yes? You decide to take it back just to protect it, yes?
He's going to look to the others and kind of move over to Adrian's side, almost looking accusingly at the group.
Please just tell me you have it.
Have what?
The gem!
We gave it to you last night.
I know, and I no longer have it. I brought it with me to my room, and I had it with me, and it's now not there.
How could it not be there? What happened?
I don't know.
I was watching outside all night. No one came or left. Ophira, did you see anybody leave when I went to sleep?
No, but I remembered last night, right before I went to bed, of something that happened that before then I had no memory of happening. And it was Strahd. I think he took that memory from me for some reason, and then it returned.
The memory you spoke of last night.
Yes. If he can make me forget something like that, there's no telling what he could do.
So, do you think that Strahd took the gem?
After what I heard about Rhaegar dreaming about,
We should search everyone's things. No one has left. I do not think so. Just to be sure. Does everyone agree?
Agreed.
if we cannot trust each other, then we will fall apart.
If this creature can get inside of your head, then it is not your fault.
Rhaegar seems somewhat taken aback by that, but he has nothing to hide, so sure.
And Pavel will ask from help from Adrian to help search the party's things.
All right. Who do you? So it's who's taking charge of this? It's like Pavel and Adrian. Is that how you're doing it?
Unless somebody else wants to assist.
I guess what I'm asking is like logistically, what is happening?
Um, Pavel is going to be going through everyone's stuff, with Adrian's help, I guess.
So like you're going to take their individual bags and
Their bags, their bodies, and look through them.
Well, Mace will open up his pack and display everything of his. Does the gem come falling out of his pack?
not yet.
Not yet.
So Pavel, roll a investigation for me.
So with Adrian helping me, I guess that's with advantage.
Yeah, he's helping you. Okay, so you roll an 18. So you go through Mace's bag. You kind of go through his armor. You don't find the gem. Who do you check next?
Phew, I hit it really well. Awesome.
The only people who were on watch last night was Rhaegar and Ophira. And you did not see anyone else getting up, either of you.
I saw no one
No
getting
one
up,
left.
but I'm only at one spot. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
So I guess we'll go for Ophira next.
Okay.
Don't
So
find anything.
you, we're gonna go with one investigation check, just like for
okay.
everyone.
Okay.
So you go, so same thing. You go through Ophira's bag. Are you like patting her down, sort of thing?
I do not let that happen.
Pavel would be
the
kind of
history
nervous.
With the history that she has, she refuses to let anyone touch her in anything other than a small cursory way.
Yeah, so, Pavel's 16. He's going to be kind of intimidated to do that. But, if she has any bags on her, they're obvious for holding things. The gym was fairly large. It was like an ostrich egg, wasn't it?
Was it like an ostrich? It was about like a baseball, I'd say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was fairly,
I am letting you search my bag as a show of respect for your abilities. You would not touch me.
And given the look that she has with her background, he's gonna probably stammer and nod.
Okay.
So she doesn't allow him to touch her her body, but he will go through her pack.
Okay. Go through her pack, and you do not find anything.
Okay.
Well, actually, you find
Well, so you don't find a gem.
a broken longbow, arrows, a short bow, a short sword, a necklace, thieves' tools, a backpack, 1,000 ball bearings, a candle, a crowbar, a hammer,
No gem. We're looking for the gem.
oil, rations, a
No.
tinderbox, a water skin, 2 steak, a holy symbol, manacles, a steel mirror, 3 torches, 3 books, a notebook, a longsword, and not a ring. I have the ring on me.
He doesn't take
I love
anything.
you so much.
I'm really glad that happened because I'm just imagining him pulling out all these things.
No, he's looking for the
Several of
gem.
which are very important to her, and it's honestly amazing. I'm letting her let anyone else touch them.
So he he sees the glaring look, and he's just like, sorry, I'm sorry. um, and so he just kind of goes by one each of the members of the party if they allow him,
Okay.
and we'll just kind of briefly look through their things, and if he doesn't find anything, he'll just kind of look up at Adrian and raise his hands and be like, searched me too. And he'll let Adrian go through his things and pat him down.
Adrian kind of just looks at you and just
I
has
do not
this
know.
look of helplessness on his face. He says, I'm not going to search you, Pavel.
Sorry, I
Rhaegar
tried so hard to get it.
looks at Ophira, and he says, and he like kind of like nods his head towards Pavel. Like, you want to search him? He searched you.
I just shake my head like,
Adrian just seems to kind of collapse on himself and just kind of falls to the ground. It's over. Hey,
not over. I used my small ability of magic to enhance the land
and how long will that last?
a whole year.
A year.
We almost died for this. We need to search the house.
Please. Go, search. Like you.
Okay. Can I cast locate object?
Sure, yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna be like, okay, this is ridiculous. So I sit down, um, and I take uh the uh the time, and I
Do we
cast.
really have time for this?
Yeah, it only takes an action, so 6 seconds.
Alright.
Isn't that also
Describe or name an object that's familiar to you. You sense the direction of the object's location as long as it's within 1,000 feet of you. If it's in motion, you know the direction of its motion. You can know it as long as you've seen it up close, within 30 feet at least once. If it's thick as a lead, thin sheet, blocks direct path between the object. You cast your spell, and you concentrate, and just as like when you sense good and evil, you feel the magic start wide and focus, and it goes tighter and tighter and tighter until the lens focuses on Ophira.
Okay. I look at Ophira. And I'm just staring at her. I say, is there something that you want to say? Or
I want to say that if you think I have it, then your magic must be wrong. magic that I sensed between that rock is similar to the magic I have. It's nature.
I held the object in my hand, and I was specifically looking for that object. And it led me directly to you.
And if my magic comes from the same place, then perhaps that is simply it.
This spell would not make me sense magic. It would make me sense the object itself, not the magic associated with it. That's not how the spell works.
You already turned out my pack.
Adrian, I
It's
need
not.
you to go upstairs, back to your room, and check all of your things for the gem. Please, now, go.
Ophira, it's not pointing to your path.
Adrian is staring directly at Ophira right now, and he
Damn.
ignores what you say, Mace. Is it true? Is the Paladin's word law? Did you steal it? Lurking in the night, did you?
I'm going to
Search her again!
look.
Ophira, please. Just check yourself, check your clothing, check everything, and just make sure something is amiss here. And if you have nothing to hide, please just come out in the open.
If Strahd made you do this, you cannot be held accountable for it. You said he took part of your memory. If that is the case, then you can't be held responsible for this. But please, if you are keeping it from us now, then
So
that is something else.
she just folds her arms and then leans against the wall and says, "It's not Strahd. It's someone far more important."
Then please explain it to us so that we can understand.
What are you trying to insight, Rhaegar?
I want to see if she is lying about that, or if she is actually, if she's under the influence of Strahd, or if she is actually keeping it for something else.
Okay.
Essentially,
Alright, so you rolled a 13.
it's not a very good insight, but
Ophira, just roll a d20 for me. And I'll add the appropriate modifier. Okay. Okay, so you're trying to see if she's being honest or if she's under the influence of Strahd, right? Okay. She seems genuine. She's acting like Ophira. She's always been a little bit standoffish.
And I know her well enough to know that.
Yeah.
We've traveled together for a while, and I know how she is.
Yeah.
So that being the case, I'm going to turn on the other problem in the room, which is, I forget his name already. I'm sorry.
Adrian.
Adrian?
Yeah, Adrian. And I'm going to judge his state right now?
He is staring at Ophira with a complex emotion on his face. Well, Paladin, you said your magic found it on her. Do you have it?
There may be something else going on here. I need you to calm down. And as I say
This
that,
is my home
I look at
and
Mace
my
and I say
land.
that.
I will behave exactly as I need to get this done. I am calm as I need to be when a thief has stolen something that my entire family and livelihood and country relies upon. So forgive me, sir, if I'm a little
Land is
tense.
my home as well, boy. What I'm trying to do is going to benefit all of Barovia, not some silly little winery in a corner with no problems.
You bitch. He looks over to Rhaegar. Well, what are you gonna do about this? He looks to Mace. Hmm?
Alright. Well. Yeah. Alright, well, Rhaegar.
Is there more than one stone? If perhaps that we can come to an arrangement. If there is more than one, then perhaps one can stay here, and we can try to find another one.
It was stolen. We barely knew. We barely even thought you'd get this one back. We have no idea where the other two are.
So there are more.
There were three.
No.
We know where at least one other is. Apparently.
What? How do you know
said,
that?
Boy, that apparently...
Okay, just to be clear here for a second, guys. He's the same age as you.
No, he isn't.
Adrian is the same age as you.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's like in his 40s.
Adrian isn't Pavel's friend. That's
right.
Just to be clear, he's not a child.
Yeah, he's.
Oh, I thought he was Pavel's friend.
No.
Pavel's friend's father.
Okay, all right.
He's the master of the. He's the master of the house. He's Pavel's.
Yeah, I just called him a boy master. To be like insulting.
Just to be clear, though.
Okay, all right.
I was just being insulting.
No, that's cool.
Like
that's
a
cool.
Child.
Yeah. I figured that's what you were doing, but with the second boy, it's like, okay, hold on. Who do they think this is?
When you called him boy, I thought we were talking to Pavel's friend.
No. This is Adrian, who is essentially the go-to person for the family. He's not the patriarch. The patriarch is his father, who you did meet, and who was a very craggly old guy. Davian. His father was Davian. Davian's the patriarch.
Yeah, so Pavel is Davian's apprentice, but Adrian is who he interacts with the most.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mace is going to try to calm the situation because it seems to be getting out of control.
Oh, yeah, now you're going to calm the situation. Okay.
I'm not going to cast any spells or anything. Mm-hmm. But what I am going to do is try to reason with Adrian. He's going to look at him and say, listen, you have your winery back. We have cast spells on the ground to make it more fertile for at least a year. We may need this gem to find the others. We came here to help, and now you are pointing fingers at us and accusing us of stealing something that would not even be here if it wasn't for us.
It
You
was
have
your
own
own man who pointed the first finger. And he points at Rhaegar. He is the one who cast the magic that pointed at her.
Ophira obviously has a good reason to be acting like this. Now, Rhaegar may not have understood her motivations, but she obviously has an
I trust
idea,
her.
and I think we need to hear her out
I
before this
trust
goes any
Oprah
farther.
with my life. If she has a reason that she needs this stone, then it is a good one. We promised that we would bring these stones back to you, and we will.
When it suits your
On
needs, of course.
on that, you have my oath.
Your oath seems to also support thieves that seem to serve your interest.
We need the stone to find the others. What good is this one stone going to do you? Do you know?
These stones have been in my family's ownership for generations. They are what kept the winery going. It's what kept Barovia going. And now you think that because you've cast a simple spell that you can just take them from us?
We are not taking, we are borrowing. And on that same note, Pavel is clearly backing you in this. What if he came with us to watch the stone and guard the stone? And that way he would bring it back to you when we are all finished.
What are you even planning to do with them? Do I not at least have the right to know?
All right, Mace isn't really bright, so somebody else is going to have to jump in here and help him out.
I am going to restore one who should rightfully be in Barovia.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Say it again.
I'm going to restore one who should rightfully be here.
What's that even mean? And by the way, if your cause was so righteous, I doubt you would have creeped through the night to steal it out from my very hands after having given it to me.
I had not known what it could do until I woke up.
What will giving the stone to whatever it is that you are trying to bring back accomplish?
Heal the land.
Wait a minute. Are you that is what it does here already.
Have you ever wondered why? It's in the wrong place.
Maybe
How-
instead of just healing this one portion of land, the stone can help heal all of the land of Barovia.
How would you even know this?
Because the one who told me is the one who will do it. You all knew me before. You all knew that I could not do this. She just does druidcraft things. That is his power.
Papa will look to Adrian.
Can I do a what am I looking for here? A persuasion
Of who?
of Adrian with a little help, since all of us are trying to talk to him.
So, you can, certainly. what are you specifically trying to persuade him of? To trust you?
Well, yes, since we saved his home
Okay.
and at least got him back there, I mean, he's got to appreciate something for crying out loud.
I know. Not only did we save this guy's home and clear it out of nasty druids and blights, we went out. We stopped like 1,000 or 60-foot like Wicker Man thing from coming and destroying the place. Got the stone, brought it back, killed this blight tree thing so more blights don't come and wreck the place. Brought the stone all the way back.
I mean, he doesn't
Like,
know
I
any
mean,
of that.
a lot
Just to
of
be
stuff.
fair, he doesn't know you guys
Are
did
you
all
are you
that.
are you
Well-
saying that out loud? That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying that out loud, but I'm just saying, like, we did
Maybe
we've
Rhaegar
done a lot for these
convey that
people.
to
They
him.
don't know any of this? They really don't know any of this?
Well, no, all that stuff that you guys did, you didn't do in their presence.
Yeah, now I'm basically telling him that I have the same power as this stone in part, and that power of the stone from me is sustaining this land, and yet he won't let me just take this to completely fix things.
Well, why don't you say that, Mace? That's a powerful argument. Tell him all the shit that we did for him.
Right. So, basically, yeah, that's what Mace is doing. He's telling him everything that we've done and everything that we've accomplished so far. But he wouldn't know what Ophira just said.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she would have to convey that herself during this whole thing, and that's why I'm thinking
I
that.
mean, I kind of have
Persuasion-
conveyed that in
Right.
pieces, just not as one whole thought.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, go ahead and roll persuasion.
Right.
It's going to be a flat
Yeah.
roll, though. You're not going to get advantage on this.
Oh, okay.
If Ophira would just be upfront about shit, we wouldn't get into fucking situations like this.
That's pretty true.
Look, if you hadn't tried to find it with magic, then it wouldn't have happened. So.
Well, how was I supposed to know you fucking had it? I was just trying to find it, goddammit. That's what Rhaegar would have done, alright?
Kudos to you for playing your character.
Okay.
Even if it fucked me over.
Now, wait a minute. Let's see what happens here.
That's pretty good persuasion.
Adrian, let's see. So there's 1, 2. I'm trying to think. How would Oresis respond to this? Oresis, I think, tends to trust Ophira.
He probably would have burned the fucking place down by now.
Maybe. I'm just trying
know
to
if
think how he feels about Ophira's actions, and it can
I
kind
don't
of
know.
go either way on this.
Yeah,
because the whole thing
Oresis
in...
when it comes to Ophira is kind of a coin toss.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take him out of the conversation for now because I don't know which way he'd fall. So Adrian looks at all of you, and
Pavel's with Adrian.
yeah, I realize that, and sees that he's outnumbered.
On my word, let me see, how do I want to phrase this? You have my word. The Lord of Light is with me. If we cannot restore the land with this gem, we shall return it to you.
It seems I have little choice in the matter. You'll not return it even if I say to return it. So what does it matter? Doesn't seem like you're trying to gain my consent. Merely assuage yourselves of guilt at this point. Fine. Go. I mean, you guys, I get that you feel that he should be more grateful, but you literally gave him his livelihood back. Like, you raise his hopes like, this is everything that we needed. And then it was stolen from him. And then the thief is standing right in front of him after trying to hide and steal it and lie. And now you've all suddenly kind of crowded around her saying, like, no, we're going to make sure that she keeps it, even though she hasn't really, not really explained what she's doing. So I get that you want him to be grateful, but you got to realize that you're kind of being a little bit douchey. You've done some great things for the guy.
Honestly, Rhaegar is really kind of in between a rock and a hard place right now because, like, the only reason that he is supporting Ophira is because it's Ophira. If it was anybody else, he would totally be 100% like, no, we're giving this back. But because Ophira is Ophira and she's in the party and it's somebody that is under Rhaegar's protection, that's why.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get it.
And because because he trusts her.
You trust her, but Adrian has no reason to right now.
But this is really this does not sit well with Rhaegar. What is happening right now, no matter what reason it is. I just want that said.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I know that this is just the way Barovia works. The strong come, take what they want. And the rest of us just try and survive. You see him kind of like tighten his shoulders and lips. I am grateful for the aid you have provided my family. And you see him kind of, his shoulders kind of drop again. And in spite of the losses we have had, we will survive. But please leave.
Alright, I leave then.
What are the rest of you doing?
We will return. And Rhaegar walks out.
Mace is standing there looking at Pavel.
Turns his shoulder away from you, his back to you, and he leaves the group.
Knew it. Huh.
Pavel, you should return to your family. This is no place for... Just go. Your parents will be worried.
As you wish, Master.
Then Mace will walk out.
By the way, looking at the area of the winery, does it look like a lot healthier now that it's been a few days since I cast the spell?
The vegetation, yeah. I mean, it's as I understand the spell, I mean, the spell works, like, once you finish casting it after 8 hours, it's fairly, like, relatively instantaneous. Like, it's already looking rich and flourished once you finish the 8 hours.
Alright. I help them They will be fine for a year. I don't need to feel any guilt about this. I've already helped them, and I'm going to help them more.
Gentleman and lady, we do have a minor problem. We have no wine to take back to Kresk to get inside.
You do. There's still a
We do?
wagon of wine there.
Yeah, but it's at the winery, right?
We're at the winery.
I understand this, but you want to jump in their wagon and take their wine after
I'm
you do?
good. I'm good with that. We've already burned this bridge. We might as well continue torching the bastard.
Alrighty.
I mean, like, I'm not gonna go in there and get it, but someone else can.
I don't think Mace would do it, and I'm
We
pretty
have
sure
any-
Rhaegar wouldn't do it.
Do we have any
I'm not-
money to compensate?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that the compensation is the fact that, this wine's going to Kresk, so Kresk's gonna pay for it.
Yeah, so we're just being errand boys.
So I think the more important thing was that we had to bring Pavel back.
All right, well, I guess we
Are
can
you-
convey to
are you-
Pavel that he can tell them that we're going to deliver the wagon load of wine to Kresk and take Pavel with us.
If you want to deliver his wine for him, then why don't you ask him?
Well, okay then. Is Adrian still in the room, or did he walk out when we walked out the door?
He's picked up the broom that Pavel dropped and is cleaning up. He seems pretty despondent.
And Mace will just walk in, his head kind of lowered, and he's going to say, Adrian, I am going to take Pavel back to Kresk, and we will take the wagon load of wine to Kresk and make sure you get your money. If you would like me to do that, I will, since the roads may be a little dangerous still.
There's a pause. Very well. And he continues to sweep.
Okay then. So I won't say anything else to him. I'll just walk out, and I'll actually walk through and get to the wagon, and bring it around to the front to everybody else.
And as Mace brings the wagon around, the two horses pulling alongside, the casks of wine in the back, we will end our session there.
Man,
Okay.
That was a great session, honestly.
Uh,
You don't understand how tense that was. I'm pretty sure that D20 you rolled that got a 10 was you wondering if Rhaegar actually noticed because you tied my stealth on that roll.
I was checking to see if I was giving you the space for the other players to decide whether you were rolling a persuasion or a deception, and so I was just adding the appropriate modifier, and you succeeded. So,
Right. I mean, before that, when Rhaegar rolled perception,
Oh,
after I
that,
did the
yeah.
stealth and sleight of hand.
yeah, the sleight of hand was fine, but it was the stealth that
Yeah, because Rhaegar rolled a 16 and I rolled a 16 on stealth.
yeah.
It
But
was incredibly hard for me to do because I have a +9 to it.
But I realized soon afterwards, like, well, no, everyone's asleep. There's nothing stopping Ophira from just doing that. So, and you beat Adrian's perception. So, you took it off of him.
damn it, Ophira.
Look, I don't really know how to phrase it. I guess patron needs it, and that's more important than wine that's still going to be able to be grown for the next year.
Feel ya.
Wait, so my perception equaled your stealth
Yeah.
roll? Then I should have seen you. If it meets, it beats.
No, you did. So what happened was basically, when Ophira woke up, she would have attempted at that moment to sneak away while you were on watch. But
Okay,
you
well, I was
noticed her get up. And so
So
that,
I
I
had to
noticed.
just go with
Okay.
that extra time of just sitting with you and staring at the rain until you went to sleep again.
yeah. And that's where I was like giving you guys a little bit of time and space to see if you were going to talk or investigate, but nothing much happened. And then while she
no.
was asleep, or while the rest of you were asleep, that's just like your passive perception.
All right.
I got you.
Everybody realize that Morgantha, our friend the Night Hag, has a gem.
Now, I want to just clarify one thing, Don.
Yeah.
In your vision,
Right.
you were told that there's another person who has the gem, who is in the company of Morgantha.
Oh, got you.
So it's not just Morgantha. She is there, but there is someone else.
Also, it was in my bag when you guys started searching it, but I 22 sleight of handed it out of there.
Yeah. She had a very good sleight of hand. And that's why Pavel's investigation didn't quite find it. Plus, Pavel was suddenly confronted with a womanly shape that was like, oh god, what do I do with this?
Hard to tell under the cloak, but yes.
And also, Ophira and the Trust. Could have told her before Adrian came downstairs, damn it.
Yeah, but there was really no good way to bring that up. Like, oh, hey, by the way, I stole this.
I mean, you almost got away with it if it weren't for Rhaegar.
I would have gotten away with it if it
Yeah.
hadn't been for you and your damn magic.
Now, old man, I'm sure you're probably thinking about, like, there's no reason why Pavel would stay with the group. There might still be some opportunities in the next session for you to find a reason to. I did not expect this to entirely happen, to be honest with you. If you think Pavel's going to leave, then yeah, we'll roll another character for you, I guess.
Yeah,
But
Gotta keep switching it up.
He didn't trust him now, so
yeah, but there might be some things in the next session or two that might give Pavel motivation. So just so that you know that.
I mean, he is a supremely forgiving person, but you know what happened right there was really shady.
Oh yeah, it was
And
crazy shady.
And he's very good friends with the Mardukov family.
Yeah.
I'll see why, honestly. You need to meet Erwin. He's way more nice.
So,
Adrian was really nice with you guys at first, till this happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, any questions or concerns you guys want to bring up?
No,
kind of
just the
think
fact
that
that Adrian's a fucking fool.
well, Pavel would have been concerned about his friend. I don't think we had time for him to be asking. I think he would have asked about his friend at some point. It's just-
I believe you, but you didn't.
yeah.
And like it sounded like you were either too exhausted or shell shocked to actually like ask the question.
Well, and the first thing that happened when he came downstairs was, you know, where'd the freaking stone go? So
Yeah.
didn't really get the chance. And then it's like everybody's leaving, and then you know, he would have stayed and asked that question, but then he's like, you know, Adrian's like, you know, no, you get out too. And he's like,
Yeah. So he would have, but he didn't.
Yeah, but like even though he's like way older than me by almost twice my age, Adrian's kind of a fool. Like, he lives all the way over here, way far away from the shadow of Castle Ravenloft. Meanwhile, Ophira grew up literally in its shadow, and everyone she knew and loved was killed or taken away from her by him. So to hear him say that, like, she's being stupid or whatever, is just, that really set her off.
Yeah.
I'm
We could
surprised to
tell.
hear you say that. If only because, like, you know more about the Marakov's background, so I'm surprised to hear you say that they just kind of like sit here in their corner.
Yeah, I know, but like, it was a tense moment.
That's fair. All right. That was a fun session. That was definitely tense.
I hate making me do that.
I'm always one step away from pulling something off, and then it honestly happens to me more often than you would think. I almost do something, and then something else happens, and it's discovered.
All right. Have yourselves a good night, everybody. This is
Well, there you were
What was
having
that?
me think that Strahd took it. I said, well, there you were having me think that Strahd took it or something, and I was like, well, I mean, maybe if he's close enough, if he's within 1,000 feet or something like that, I can find
You
it.
know, Strahd doesn't
Whatever.
stick around.
Here's a Hail Mary.
You know, Strahd doesn't stick around.
I mean, it was a good gambit. You definitely had them considering it.
I know. I mean, I don't really feel like anyone considered it because no one really reacted to what I said, but
Yeah. Have yourselves a good night, everybody. You know where to find me, and we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Have a good night.
All right. Bye.